Hello, today I'll be discussing women in drugs and problem-solving courts and things like that. So, we know that the war on drugs has an impact on women and drug addictions and people of color specifically. So the war on drugs started with Nixon and it has continued through. Originally it was supposed to be a war on poverty, but that changed into a war on drugs. And so in the 1980s, as you've seen in all your criminology books, the number of people incarcerated, especially men and African American and Latinx men, increased significantly, and this mostly was due to the changes in drug laws and how long you could serve 3 strikes and you're out, for example, or the difference between crack cocaine, which got a longer sentence than powder cocaine sentence. So the primary pathway in which many women using drugs are exposure to drugs and alcohol at a young age. For example, at most of the problem-solving courts that I evaluate, people are having their first alcoholic sip between the ages of 7 and 8, and nationally the average age that people sip some alcohol from their parents' beer or whatever is around age 12. Women typically have had childhood victimization of trauma, as we discussed previously. They may have cognitive behavior challenges, and they may be living in poverty or have economic challenges. Women who commit drug offenses are receiving longer sentences of incarceration time than typically men, especially if the women are parents. Motherhood seems to influences judges' opinions about the use of drugs. So I've done problem-solving court evaluations for multiple years. What we know about problem-solving courts and treatment courts in general is that a lot of times the problem-solving court will start out with more women, and also women will have more concrete time with the POs. Women don't seem to be any different than men in being successful in the program and convincing from the program. There is a lot of emphasis in problem-solving courts about if you're a parent, mother, then the judge and the team may look at you differently than a father, because in our society, for example, fatherhood, while this is changing, seems to be more about breadwinning, and motherhood is about the physical care of children and should be the primary role in our society. So property crimes occur with women, economic reasons, or support of drug addiction, and a lot of times these property crimes occur with a male or male-presenting co-person. And then pink collar is a term used to describe female engagement in property crimes. So pink collar is just like what it sounds like at the beginning of the class when I talked about the glass ceiling and pink occupations like service occupations, teaching, nurses, etc. are all examples of pink collar positions. So the same thing happens for women and property crimes of pink collar. Prostitution. Women still tend to make less than men who are male prostitutes, even at the higher end, because typically women will have someone who is organizing them or as their pimp, and they will have to pay out to that person, whereas men, because of hegemonic masculinity, that won't necessarily happen. So the forms of prostitution are escort services, massage parlors, brothels, over in Rochelle at the truck stop, there is a prostitution area where men purchase the women at the truck stops. A lot of women who do prostitution is for economic support. They tend to have a history of being abused. They often witness and become victims of violence while on the streets. Additionally, if a person is LGBT plus, they also may form be participating in prostitution because they've kicked out of their home, if they're youth, for example, or other factors to try to earn money. So what do you think? Should prostitution be legal as it is in Amsterdam? If it's legal, like it's in Amsterdam, for example, then we would be able to have, prostitutes would be able to have health insurance, and we'd be able to more prosecute men who are violent towards prostitutes and other factors. So now we turn to girls and gangs. So girls make up a small percentage of gang members. Jody Miller at University of Missouri St. Louis has written lots of books, or a couple of books about girls as gangs. Again, girls typically are in a gang because they are dating have a brother or a boyfriend in the gang, so they typically join the gangs because of a brother or a boyfriend. Again, this goes back to the idea that we had before spring break about masculinity, hegemonic masculinity, and how women and girls tend to follow males or male-presenting people. So in the past, girls were viewed as sexual toys for gang members. Today, girls are active participants in crimes committed by gangs. Many girls join gangs to become a part of a family. The lifestyle of a female gang member is as diverse as males in the gang. Females are initiated into a gang in two ways: walking a line or pulling a train. This means that pulling a train means that you have multiple male partners, and they don't define it as a sexual assault or a rape. Walking a line seems to be similar. Women tend to leave a gang for pregnancy, employment, education, incarceration, or they're jumped out of the gang. And you can see lots of TV programs or movies where they talk about women can't leave the gang or trying to leave a gang and other factors like that. So we know that mothers who kill their children often are pictured in the media as having mental health problems, and also tend to have longer sentence times, especially if they're a mother of color. White women have shorter sentence times than African American and Latinx mothers when they're compared. So filicide is the killing of a child or children. There are a number of explanations for why women kill their children: for the best interest of the child. So they believe that as a society they're not going to get along very well, and that they're protecting the child. Psychotic or psychological reasons: an unwanted pregnancy, accidental death due to maltreatment or abuse, and vengeful act against the spouse and or father of the child. So these are all the reasons that a mother might decide to kill their children.